The Bacchanal is the buffet at Caesar's Palace. I feel like I'm gonna hurt some feelings with this review because people talk up this place a lot. It costs about twice as much as most of the other buffets on the strip. And the way it's always been described to me is that it's worth it because it's not a normal buffet. This is the Bacchanal. While a normal buffet is serving dried out pasta, this is 5-star food in buffet form. It's just this massively oversized buffet with every kind of food that you could ever want. So when you think about it like that, the $85 price tag is just well worth it. You don't need to compare it to an average buffet. You need to be comparing it to high-end restaurants. Those were my expectations going in, and maybe they were a little too high. On our last trip, we decided to make a reservation and they were totally sold out for the entire trip. But after checking a few times, a reservation time came available. It was our first night there and it was kind of late. It was like 9 p.m., which for us is really late, at least for dinner. So we get there and the line is insane. Our reservation was for 9, but that meant that we were like eligible to wait in line. It was like a 45-minute wait, which meant we're starting to get really annoyed and really cranky. Looking at it now, like I know that affected how I viewed the entire experience. So keep that in mind. After we finally got in, what I immediately noticed was the size. I was expecting it to be like breathtakingly big, like at least twice as big as an average buffet. Now don't get me wrong, it was a big buffet, but it was like marginally bigger, like a little bit bigger. I mean, was it the biggest? Maybe, I think so, but it wasn't like that much bigger. It was more or less an average buffet size. After we finally got in, got seated, we got up to discover that we had to wait in line to get all the food. It was just one big line moving through the buffet because it was so crowded. And it probably took another 40 minutes or so to get through that line to get all the way through for our food. Now, what I really like about buffets is I'll go through really quick and just get the things that look good, and then I'll go back to the table and sample each one. Then I can figure out what I like, and then I'll go back and only eat my very favorites. That strategy was really not possible with just how crowded it was. I'm going through, and one of the big reasons I came was the seafood. So I made sure to get an entire plate of nothing but seafood. They had steamed crab legs, scallops, shrimp, cold crab legs, oysters, and it all looked amazing. So even though it was like an obnoxiously long wait, and I wouldn't be able to go back and just grab a few things here and there, I at least knew I'd like all this seafood. Looked amazing. So I go back to my table and I grab one of the lobster claws that I'd found. Crack it open, take a bite, and it might have been the most disgusting thing I've ever put in my mouth. It tasted like it'd been frozen, thawed, and then like left in a dumpster and then put in the buffet. I'm not exaggerating when I say it was literally inedible. It was like a cross between like a cracker and a boot. So then I tried the scallops and they're like totally frozen in the middle. And then I tried the oysters and they're gross. I try the shrimp and they're like bland, like they taste like a piece of styrofoam. The steamed crab legs were actually really good. I really liked those. So that's mostly what I ate. The rest of the hot food I got, it was all just mediocre. The meats were average. I mean, they're bland and full of fat and nothing special, just like every other buffet I've ever been to. The one high point of the place was the desserts were really good. There was a huge variety and it was all excellent, but the desserts are always good at Vegas buffets. I do think there was like a little more variety than all the other buffets I've been to, but nothing crazy. Overall, I'd say it was just a really average buffet that doesn't deserve the hype at all. I like giving places the benefit of the doubt, and maybe it was just an off night. Maybe something happened that put them behind and it was just way more crowded than normal. And maybe they ran out of seafood and had to find it all in the dumpster from the night before. So maybe this place is normally really good, but from what I saw, I was not impressed at all. Overall, I'd say it's probably on par with the MGM Grand Buffet with double the price and just way more crowded. If you want an actual top-notch buffet, we ate at the Wynn Buffet a few years ago and I have no complaints at all. It was by far the best buffet that I've been to on the strip. If you guys have ever been to the Bacchanal Buffet in Caesar's Palace, let me know if you had the same experience that I did. Thanks for watching.